all started on a Wednesday night, sometime after 2 a.m. I was lying in bed, scrolling mindlessly on my phone, when a notification lit up my screen. Normally, I'd ignore late-night texts, but this one was from my friend Evan. He was one of those people who never stayed up late, the kind of guy who'd be asleep before midnight on a weekday. That alone made the message feel off. The text read, "Bro, you ever heard of the Black Gate?" I blinked at it, confused. At first I thought he was joking, maybe referencing a video game or some weird subreddit. But the words stuck with me in a strange way. Black Gate. The name alone carried a weight, like something that wasn't supposed to be said out loud. I typed back, "What's that?" He didn't explain. Instead, another message popped up with a link. It wasn't a normal link either. It looked scrambled, full of random letters and numbers, ending in .onion. That's when my stomach dropped. I knew enough about the internet to recognize what that meant. The dark web. I stared at the URL for a long time, my thumb hovering over the screen, but refusing to touch it. Everything in me screamed not to open it. It felt like standing in front of a locked door in an abandoned house, hearing whispers on the other side, and knowing you'd regret turning the handle. Before I could overthink it, another text came in. "Don't go alone. Just know I found something insane." That's when I realized he wasn't joking. His tone was dead serious, the kind of text you don't send unless you've seen something that shook you. I typed out, "What is it? What's on there?" But he didn't answer. Minutes passed. I convinced myself he'd fallen asleep. The next morning, I called him. No answer. I figured maybe he was at work. By evening, I sent another text. Nothing. Then, around midnight, he finally replied, "It's real. You need Tor to access. Just promise me if you go, you'll keep your webcam covered." That single line sent a shiver down my spine. He wasn't just warning me. He was scared. I asked him again what the site was, and after a long pause, he replied, "It's like a market, but not for things you'd ever want to buy." I didn't know what that meant, but it didn't sound good. I pressed him for more, but his replies got shorter and stranger. "They're watching." Then another, "Don't let them know you know." At that point, I seriously thought he was losing it. Maybe he'd gone down some conspiracy rabbit hole and was spiraling. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. His messages weren't just paranoid, they were desperate. 2 nights later, curiosity got the better of me. I downloaded Tor. My hands were sweating as I copied the strange URL into the browser. The screen went black for a moment, then flickered. Slowly, white text began to appear on the page, like it was being typed out by someone unseen. "Welcome to the Black Gate. Do you know the password?" My heart dropped. I didn't know what to do. There was no sign-up option, no forgot password button. Just that question, pulsing on the screen like it was waiting for me. I panicked and closed the browser. But before I could shut my laptop completely, another line appeared beneath the first. "Wait, you've been invited." I slammed the lid down so hard, I thought I cracked the screen. My pulse was racing. I sat there in the dark, every sound in my apartment suddenly amplified. The hum of the fridge, the creak of the pipes, even the faint buzz of the street lamp outside. That's when my phone buzzed again. A new message from Evan. "You logged in, didn't you?" I stared at the screen in shock. I hadn't told him. There was no way he could have known. My chest tightened, and for the first time, I realized something terrifying. Whatever this Blackgate was, it wasn't just some shady website. It was watching me. I shouldn't have gone back to that site. But the warning, "Don't leave halfway, that's worse," kept replaying in my head like a scratched record. Curiosity was a small, dangerous thing. It eats at you until you give in. A few nights after I first saw the Blackgate page, I reopened my laptop, hands trembling. The room seemed colder than before, as if the air itself was watching. The Tor window loaded faster this time, like it remembered me. The black screen was back, the white text slow and deliberate. Welcome back. Enter the password or accept an invitation. Below it, a pulsing cursor blinked, waiting. I didn't have a password. But then, in the corner of the page, a tiny box had appeared that hadn't been there before. Use invitation. I hesitated, then clicked. The page changed. Images flickered across my screen, grainy thumbnails of faces, houses, corners of rooms. Nothing labeled, nothing explained. Text scrolled up from the bottom like a ticker. We like observers. We like participants. Will you contribute? Beneath it, another line. Prove you're worthy. Match the offer. Match the offer. I felt stupid typing questions into a stranger's website, but I typed anyway. What offer? The reply came instantly, as if someone had been waiting. A name, a secret, a price. Before I could think of anything to say, my phone buzzed. Evan's name flashed on the screen. I almost choked. I answered. His voice was a rasp, like he'd been whispering for days. You opened it, he said. No prelude, no hello. Don't go further, I asked him how he knew. He laughed, but it had no humor. Because they told me. Because they told everyone who looks the line went dead, and the call log showed 1 minute of connection. When I tried to call him back, it rang and rang, straight to voicemail. That night, every small sound in my apartment felt amplified. The hum of the router turned into a chorus. Then, at 3:33 a.m., my laptop woke up on its own. The lid was closed. I was staring at it from across the room, convinced I'd left it off. The screen lit, and the Blackgate page was already typed out, words crawling slowly. We see you. Camera covered, light off. It doesn't matter. I'd taped my webcam weeks ago, an old habit from a creepy news piece about webcams being hijacked. What the text implied sank cold into my bones. If they knew about the tape, they'd known about me long before I had even thought of the site. I rushed out to Evan's place the next morning. His porch light was off, his car in the drive, but the house felt abandoned. I pounded on the door until a neighbor opened theirs and peered out with the kind of nervous curiosity reserved for late-night disturbances. Haven't seen him around, she said. He keeps odd hours, sure, but his blinds have been shut for days. I asked if she'd heard anything, voices, a fight, a car leaving. She shook her head and pointed to the backyard. His shed was open when I went by yesterday, she added. That didn't sound right. When I climbed the side steps and peered in through the window, the house was dark. The living room light was off, the TV black. There was no sign of a struggle. His bedroom curtains were drawn tight, but a single lamp in the hallway was dimly lit. I called his name until my throat ached. Nothing answered. I left a note under his door. Call me. On the drive home, there was a folded piece of paper tucked under my windshield wiper. My hands went numb as I unfolded it. Neat, block printing. Stop digging, or you'll end up like him. No signature, no return address. My first instinct was to call the police, but I knew how that would look. Some guy finding a creepy note and claiming some website had taken his friend. I shoved the paper into my pocket and drove home in a daze. Over the next 48 hours, the world felt off balance. Blank texts arrived at weird intervals, no sender name, no content, just the notification tone. My laptop made soft popping noises even when it was closed. A social media message appeared from Evan on a platform he rarely used. It was a single image, an out-of-focus photograph of a doorway. I stared at it until my eyes watered. The image had been taken from inside a house, from the hallway looking out, exactly where his hallway lamp was, angled toward the front door. The timestamp was 3 days old. I started noticing other things, small marks on the inside of my mailbox lid, like the edge had been rubbed, a single grain of sand under my doormat, cigarette ash on my car seat though I don't smoke. Each oddity was small on its own, meaningless, but together they compiled into a movie I couldn't turn off. And always under it all, the messages from the site echoed. We like participants. We like observers. Evan's final text that night scrolled across my screen. They don't just host things. They trade secrets. And sometimes they take people who know too much. I wanted to tell someone, to scream it into the face of authority. But my mouth kept closing. I had walked into something I couldn't explain, and now it was watching me as closely as I watched it. The night after Evan's disappearance hit the news, I couldn't sleep. Every creak in my apartment sounded like footsteps just outside my door. I sat in the dark with every light off, my phone clenched in my hand. The glow of the screen felt like my only lifeline to reality. That's when it happened. My phone lit up, despite the fact that I'd removed the SIM card hours before. A new message appeared. From Evan. It's not just a website. It's a door. Don't open it again. The words burned into my brain. Before I could even screenshot it, the message disappeared, completely vanished from the chat thread. No record, no trace. It was like it had been written directly onto my screen by someone standing just out of sight. My stomach turned cold. If it wasn't Evan, then who was sending me these? If it was him, how? The following morning, news outlets were buzzing with Evan's missing person case. His parents stood in front of their house on camera, begging for any information. Police confirmed they'd found his phone smashed in the backyard. His laptop, the one he'd used to access the black gate, was missing entirely. No forced entry, no broken locks, nothing stolen. It was as if he'd simply vanished into thin air. I wanted to tell the police about the site, about the texts, about the USB that showed up in my mailbox days later. But something stopped me every time. Would they even believe me? What would I say? Officer, there's a hidden corner of the internet where people vanish, and I think my friend got pulled inside. It sounded insane. The USB sat on my desk for 2 full days, taunting me. A plain silver stick with the words Black Gate scrawled across it in black Sharpie. My curiosity and fear wrestled constantly. What if it contained the password? What if it held proof of what happened to Evan? What if plugging it in was exactly what they wanted me to do? I didn't plug it in. I shoved it into the bottom drawer of my desk, buried under old receipts and papers. That night as I lay in bed, I heard a faint click. My office chair creaked. I froze. When I finally mustered the courage to peek, the drawer where I'd hidden the USB was wide open. The USB was gone. I didn't sleep at all that night. The next day, I noticed subtle changes in my apartment. A picture frame slightly tilted. The bathroom mirror fogged up with words I hadn't written. You looked. My phone, though powered off, vibrated 3 times in a row at 3:33 a.m. I didn't dare turn it on. By the end of that week, paranoia consumed me. Every time I walked home from work, I felt eyes on me. A dark sedan seemed to linger down my street more than once, engine idling. I stopped inviting people over. I barely spoke to anyone. I knew what people would say if I opened up. Stress, paranoia, delusion. But it wasn't delusion when I opened my fridge one morning and found a folded note sitting inside, resting on the top shelf between the milk and eggs. In the same blocky handwriting as before. Once you knock, you can't walk away. That's when it clicked. The Black Gate wasn't just a website. It was a lure, a threshold. Evan had called it a door. Maybe it wasn't metaphorical. Maybe clicking that link, interacting with it, even knowing about it, was a way of stepping across. And once you crossed that line, even by accident, they had a claim on you. I tried wiping my laptop, a full factory reset. I bought a new phone. I even moved to a different apartment across town. None of it worked. The blank messages kept coming. My new laptop turned itself on one night, and I swear I heard typing, not keys, but a steady rhythm, as if someone was inputting commands remotely. Now, weeks later, I'm writing this here because I don't know how much time I have before I disappear too. Every night at 3:33, my screen lights up with the same message, looping endlessly across the black background. The gate opens for you soon. I don't know what's waiting on the other side. I don't know if Evan's still alive in there, or if he's become one of the shadows pulling others in. All I know is this: if you ever get a strange message, if someone you know tells you about a site they found on the deep web, don't follow the link. Don't even type it. Don't ask questions. Because the Black Gate isn't a site. It's a trap. And once you're on their radar, there's no going back. And if I disappear after posting this, you'll know why.